Hey everybody, this is Perch, and New York City Comic Con is going on, so a little bit of news coming out of it. Also, I'm getting texts from a few people who are there. Joe is there, and he dropped a text to me, just kind of horrifying, talking about a Webtoon panel, where basically here's the quote. He said, "Where fans have been demanding for a long time to see these iconic characters away from the action and more grounded, relatable situations. What are they eating? What's it like hanging out on the couch with him? This isn't new. Fans have wanted this for a long time, and it's been really exciting to see characters like that. I think what's made Spider-Man so successful is how much time we spend with him away from the action." Yikes. Okay, but as the little preview window says, we got some information on DC. So a couple things are going on with DC. To kind of set it up, this is kind of layman's what's happening. DC is currently doing Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it's ending with the Lazarus Planet. It's ending. I got it all wrong. I got ahead of myself. It's ending with the Dawn of DC, and the Dawn of DC, which kicks off at the very end of the year into the next year, into January, will introduce their first major event, which will be called Lazarus Planet. And the little preview images show the Lazarus volcano blowing up or exploding, green lava, basically twisting and changing a lot of the heroes and the characters. And we see like a Martian Manhunter who's been taken over by Doomsday. We see Batman with Dr. Fate's helmet on. Jon Kent has the blue electric Superman suit going. Cyborg's like super anime mech'd out. Mercy has a weird little monster hand. And it's also looking like it's going to feature the Monkey King in a more major kind of way. So basically, heroes transform, secrets revealed, powers unleashed. Keep in mind, this Dawn of DC is kind of it's rebirth almost, rebirth light, and that's definitely how the event is kind of being portrayed. It basically 2023 looks like DC trying to kind of do a rebirth, kind of pulling things out of it. We haven't heard the announcement of who the new Justice League writer is going to be. I think that all signs certainly point to that being Tom Taylor, but we'll get more to him in a second. But anyway, Lazarus Planet kicks off January 10th. It will end February 21st. So a short event. It's going to be weekly with basically not crossing into the other titles, or at least not that we know yet. But we'll get Lazarus Planet Alpha, Lazarus Planet Assault on Krypton, Lazarus Planet We Once Were Gods, Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn, Lazarus Planet Next Evolution. I'm getting tired of saying Lazarus Planet Dark Fate, and Lazarus Planet Omega. So every week you're going to get something. A little bit like right before Future State, we got the Justice League Ice Age business that went on. So anyway, that's what's going on there. But Monkey Prince getting elevated a little bit is not a bad thing. It definitely has the feeling of kind of a more fun, upbeat event, even though, secrets revealed, powers unleashed, etc. Still feels nice. The other thing that's going on is what they're saying, a hard push toward the Superman family. So one thing that is announced is that, and I'm seeing a bunch of people report on it, Jon Kent, son of Kal-El, is ending in December. And before you get too excited about that, it is then beginning in January with a number one. Now, granted, it's they're doing a 6-part series, but the buzz at least is that absolutely they're going to relaunch Jon Kent. So Taylor will write about the character in the adventures of Superman Jon Kent, which will be debuting in January, so it won't miss a beat. 6-issue limited series. Again, money on favorite is that Tom Taylor is going to be elevated to write the Justice League for a period of time, and DC, of course, is very high on him. His Deceased and Nightwing title and some of the other stuff he's done has been high selling. The one that gets the attention, of course, is what he did with Jon Kent and the attention on CNN and everything else. But that is probably the weakest selling of his, just considering the other books that have been a little stronger. Jon Kent does slightly better in trades than Nightwing, but Nightwing does better in floppies, so it's a bit of a wash. But definitely his Deceased is where the money comes in. And then the Dark Knights of Steel has done relatively well. So Taylor is quite likely to do the Justice League. But Taylor is definitely keeping going with Jon Kent, just in a, they're canceling the ongoing, going to this limited series. And from what I understand, that kind of all these things shuffle up to make way for some other books. But that seems to be where it's going. But in terms of Superman in general, we're getting what they're calling the return of the Superman Triangle era. And it's basically the Action Comics beginning in January. We'll have a new format featuring 3 story arcs. So a little bit like the Batman Urban Legends. This is back kind of how the title used to be, if you remember some of the Silver Age and stuff they would do there. So we're getting a massive fight with Lex Luthor in the milestone 1050. Looks like it's going to return kind of to a status quo of Superman a little bit younger in the teaser art, and Lex Luthor as a prisoner trying to deviously escape from jail. And we're going to see more of what they're calling the Superman family. What's interesting about this is that it's bringing more prominence to Connor Kent, Natasha Irons, who we've seen in recent issues of the Philip Kennedy Johnson book. We're seeing the return of the Chinese Kong Kenan Superman. We're seeing Jon Kent, certainly not aged down, Supergirl there, kind of more traditional, matching uniform. We're seeing more of the family effect. But we're also seeing 2 young characters, which they're calling the twins. Now, here's my, I don't know, not cynical is the wrong word of it, but here's my view of it. I think DC realizes on some level that the kid aspect of Superboy was actually popular and marketable, and there was money to be made there, and they aged up Jon Kent and lost all that. So now we're seeing this return to the super family. Philip Kennedy Johnson commenting on this as well as a couple others. And now we see these, these 2, and Power Girl will come into the mix. They've got Dan Jurgens will be doing some writing with Lee Weeks. Leah Williams, coming off the X Office, will be working with on that title as well. She's doing the Power Girl story. But this, these super twins that we have here, and as well as some of the art which features some of the kids, I think that this is a way that DC is attempting to kind of have their cake and eat it too, where you're going to get some kids who are in this super family that they can still run around with, kind of realizing again that they left some money on the table with John, and this is a way to kind of be able to do that. So that's how it feels anyway. Some really top talent. I mean, Nick Dragotta is coming out as Jamal Campbell. Looks like those books are going to be pretty smart. Josh Williamson is going to be doing some of it. The new ongoing Superman monthly series will debut in February. Will be written by Josh Williamson himself, who's really saying that Superman needs to kind of lead the DC universe, lead DC into the light. So he is once again the figurehead for, again, this feels like Rebirth, not called Rebirth, probably not as far reaching as Rebirth, but you got a lot of the same elements. I mean, including, for example, you got the new Justice Society of America ongoing series that the Jeff Johns will be part of on some level. So anyway, lots going on with DC, but these are kind of the big news. We have a big event, Lazarus Planet. We got changes to the Superman myths. We have Jon Kent, son of Superman, whatever. It's a Superboy book, ending, but then also beginning with the new number 1. The more things change, the more they stay the same where that's concerned. But lots of changes at DC. I think the rumors of Zaslav coming in and axing stuff. I mean, they're announcing new books like it's There's No Tomorrow. So this idea that they're going to cut back seems a little strange. But I mean, for that matter, people were hailing Zaslav as the ender of all things woke, and then of course this last week they announced the new Velma series, which race swaps Shaggy and removes Scooby Doo from the Scooby Doo cartoon, because why would you have actually a dog called Scooby Doo in a cartoon for Scooby-Doo? Well, whatever. We'll see how it all works out. Anyway, there's the DC news from New York City Comic Con. What are you interested in? What are you buying? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for listening.